Hi, this is Rock. We're going to talk about concat and concatenate. We're mainly going to talk about concat. Concatenate was the original version of this, and since concat came out, everybody should be using concat. The only reason I stuck with concatenate for a few years after concat came out was that some of my team in India was still using an older version of Excel, and so it wasn't forward compatible to use concat. The formula would fail for them. But I think at this point, everybody's up on versions of Excel that use concat, and so we can pretty much get rid of concatenate. But when you see it, know that that's the earlier version of concat. So what does concatenate do? It is so powerful, I use it all the time. First of all, let's look at a couple of things here. Let's say I have a date here and I want to make it look good. I can use the concat function to bring in this, and then I want a space, and then I want this, and then I want a comma and a space, and then I want this. I'm using this as an example. Obviously, it's a lot easier to just use a date format to get what you want, what I'm showing here. But it's an example of how you can take text strings and put them together. Know, though, that you don't have to use the concat formula. Ampersands also work in the same way. I could do the same thing without the concat formula using a reference, an ampersand, the space, an ampersand. So the ampersand is an alternate to the concat function in a way. It basically joins text. And in doing that, I didn't need to have the spaces in here. It's just for readability. If I had just put them like this without spaces between the ampersand and the text that I wanted to join, it would still do the same thing. That's a space within the text, so I want that to stay. There we go. So you see how this, I just put the ampersands right between there, and it does the same thing. But for readability's sake, I always leave a space between the ampersands and text that I'm joining. But mostly when I'm trying to do something like this, I will use the concat formula because it's so handy. Within the concat function, you need at least one argument, but you can have many arguments. And note that when you hover over it, you can choose the different components that are included in the concat function. If you have the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, and in this case I am putting spaces, I could use the concat formula here and then just select this as the range, and it will concatenate that. Concat is a very important formula. We will use it in combination with indirect in ways that I think are very useful, and I'm sure you'll find them useful as well. It's a lot of fun. The concat function is found everywhere in the formulas that I create. So be sure to learn how to use it. That's concat and concatenate, and next we'll be looking at indirect. See you then.